This week on Jersey Matters, we are a week away from the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and we get a reminder from first responder John Feal that the death toll from that day continues to rise. New Jersey's cities are about to get a whole lot greener. Jeff Tittle of the Sierra Club will explain. This year, New Jersey high schools will be the first in the country to include financial psychology as part of its curriculum. And if you love Matchbox cars, have we got a museum for you. Hello and welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mente. I hope you're having a great Labor Day weekend. We are now just 1 week away from the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And as we approach that day, it is important to remember the 9/11 first responders who risked everything to try and save lives and to rebuild. John Feal was one of those first responders, and since then he's been an advocate for all who rushed to the pile when America needed them most. Hey, John, it is great to see you again. Thanks a lot for agreeing to do this. I want to start with some of the basics. I think a lot of people still use the 2,977 people, Americans, were murdered on 9/11. The number is much greater than that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you are accurate. And one, it's good to see you, old friend, and thank you for having me. We know around 3,000 people died on 9/11, and most of America knows that. And most of the world knows that. But many people don't even remember a third building coming down later that afternoon. And while nobody was in there, nobody died from that. But what people fail to remember is that those who have died since 9/11, since that horrific Tuesday morning, we have now lost more men and women who ran into harm's way than those who died that horrific Tuesday from senseless violence. You know, we average losing somebody, Larry, every 2.7 days.
Wow.
And it's only getting worse. You know, the average age of the 9/11 responder was about 38 and a half, 39 years old on 9/11. Now you're looking at around 59 years old on average. Just getting old humbles you. It hurts. Things stop working. It's harder to get up and down. Now you add these debilitating, life-altering, and life-threatening illnesses. And so many of these men and women, uniform and non-uniform, are not making it to average life expectancy of 78.6. And, you know, since I've seen you, I've probably been to about 150 funerals.
No, and it's all because of that toxic stew that was in the air. And I know that you hold the former governor of New Jersey in some contempt for saying that the air was clean that day. Christy Todd Whitman, who was EPA director at the time, and she was safe to work.
She was the EPA director with no experience to be the EPA director. Okay, so the words that she chose, the orders that she took from the White House, and the words that were echoed by other elected officials in New Jersey and New York, they got to live with that. And while I can critique them, it will be God who judges them, because on September 16th, when she said the air was safe to breathe and the water was safe to drink, a lot of good people got sick and a lot of good people died. And it's recklessness at its highest form. And, you know, shame on her. But, you know, we're about solutions and problem solving. So if this happens again, let's not repeat the mistakes, because we're still learning a lot from 9/11. And, you know,
a lot of the people that you just talked about dying, since this show is called Jersey Matters, are from New Jersey.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, James Sedroga was from Little Egg Harbor. And James Sedroga that's who the bill's named after. James Sedroga Health and Compensation Act. And New Jersey made up a large response to Ground Zero, as did the 5 boroughs, and 433 out of 435 congressional districts came to New York during the cleanup and the recovery that took 10 months. So many people went home, got sick, and died, and we don't even know about it because, somebody from a small hometown of 1,200, their post office was also the ER, and the guy died on the table, and the doc, who was also the mayor, didn't know what he was looking at, and it's just impossible to find out who all of these people were.
And these are some cancers that people their age shouldn't get, that are odd for someone to get, that are rare cancers that you could.
Yeah. So, we not only did we work there on the pile, people lived there or went to school there. We ate there, we slept there, we cried there, we went to the bathroom there. We were exposed by these toxins 24/7. The nose, mouth, and skin, we were inhaling these toxins. The number one cancer in the 9/11 community now is skin cancer, right? So in 2010, when we got the bill passed the first time, we had no cancers. We would never been able to get the bill passed. A year later, we got 4 cancers added. Now we have 68 cancers added to the bill. But if I had lung cancer and somebody in the general population had lung cancer, 9/11 lung cancer is a lot worse than somebody else. And listen, both cancers are horrible.
Oh, yeah.
But these cancers in the 9/11 community are cancers that are on steroids. They're aggressive. And without getting this legislation passed, these men and women might not have had a chance to fight it.
It was July 29th was an important day. I
Yeah.
understand that. It was the day that you had to register for the Drug Health and Compensation Fund and to be able to apply for the money. What did you get everybody to register? Do you believe?
Yeah. So let me explain July 29th to you, and I'll try to make it simple. You can still file a claim at any time up until 2090. Even if you're not sick, we're imploring people, file a claim, because the further we get away from 9/11, the harder it is for people to get affidavits. And you will need 2 affidavits. So, we're telling people in the media, the reporters, those downtown covering the towers coming, get in the program. Just get the affidavits, get a claim number, even if you're not sick, because there's a good chance in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, you're going to get a 9/11 related cancer, right? The July 29th deadline was prior to anybody before July 29th of 2019 who had a certified illness or lost a loved one. That was already an extended deadline. So if Larry, you went into the program and on September 1st, your illnesses were certified, you'd have until September 1st of 2023 to file a claim. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. So it's not a definitive deadline for everybody, right?
No, and it only affected several hundred people, a couple thousand people. And I like to think that most people got in the program, but it also made people panic, and those who aren't sick got in the program anyway. So, listen, we walked the halls of Congress for 17 years to get these bills passed. There's healthcare and there's compensation. And protect yourself now. Get in the programs, take a yearly physical. Knock on wood if there is nothing wrong with you. But if there is something wrong with you, it's going to be easier to facilitate you through the program and get you the proper health care you need. These centers of excellence in New Jersey at Robert Wood Johnson, in New York City with Mount Sinai, Bellevue, Columbian Presbyterian, Sloan, they know what to look for now. These people now have close to 2 decades of environmental medicine and understanding these diseases. And we now can get to a point where, all our work is starting to come to fruition. But we're still advocating. We're still making sure that the programs are running right. The people that are taking care of us are doing the right thing. And this is going to be an ongoing thing. And I hope before I leave this planet that somebody takes over and assures until 2090 that we're doing the right thing.
Oh, I know. Look, I've been around you. I've walked the halls of Congress one time with you. I've taken bus rides with you. You have a lot of good people working with you. I'm certain you have somebody that can carry your mantle. I do want to talk about somebody that's been helping you since then, and that's John Stewart.
Sure.
He took your fight to a whole new level. And now, on the anniversary of 9/11 that's coming up, he is going to do a documentary, and so is Spike Lee. They're going to have 2 documentaries that you're one of the stars of. Talk about it.
Well, I don't think I'm the star in either one.
I don't think they can help it.
No. Well, John filmed with Spike Lee as well, and Spike's got a 4-part, 2-hour, 8-hour documentary. It'll air every Sunday up until the anniversary. His last episode will be on 9/11. The documentary on Discovery with me and John in it was done by a bunch of Canadians, good people. That was 6 years ago that it started. So they saw in 2015 and what we went through in 2019. And listen, having John Stewart in these helps, but it also sheds light so America knows what we went through. You know, people are going to remember John Stewart and then John Feal of the Feel Good Foundation. But it's the men and women, the diverse group of responders and volunteers and those who lived, worked, and went to school in Lower Manhattan that I brought to D.C. They're the reasons why the bill got passed. They were the ones who when I was begging them, I got to get you back to D.C. We're going next week again. We're going next week again. You know, a lot of people go to D.C. once a month, once every 6 months. We were going 3, 4, 5 times a month. You know, when this is all said and done, I've made over 350 trips to D.C. now, over 1,800 meetings. And I'm never going to apologize for any way, anyhow, on what we did and what we had to do. And to have John Stewart in your toolbox and be able to utilize him and his forum and his platform, I want to believe that we would have got these bills passed without John. But I don't know if I want to test that theory. But John, from 2010 to 2015 to 2019, has been a champion. And, you know, John and I now, for the last 2 years, ever since we left D.C., the last time on the VCF for the 9/11 bill, we're working on the burn pit bill. And we're going to get a bill passed by the end of this year for veterans coming back from around the world from burn pits because they have the same cancers and same respiratory illnesses as 9/11 responders. And we're close to getting legislation passed for that. And I'm expecting by November or December that hundreds of thousands of veterans are going to get the help they deserve.
Oh, if that happens, please come back. We'd love to talk to you again.
Absolutely.
Look, John, you are, and I know you're humble about this kind of stuff, but you are an American hero, and it's wonderful what you did and what you sacrificed on 9/11 and for all the first responders since then. I've seen it firsthand.
Coming from you, that means a lot. But you know, I'm an average guy who might have done a couple of cool things, but I'm an average guy who knows right from wrong, and I see injustice. And you know, when an individual is hurting, your natural reaction is to help that person. That's the spirit of the human being. But when the masses are hurting, then you got to call the village to help the masses. And that includes not just the advocates and the elected officials, but it goes with the media. And you guys have told us stories for almost 2 decades now. And I thank you and all your colleagues for that, Larry.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, John. It was great to talk to you again.
I love you, man.
First responder John Feal, founder of the Feel Good Foundation. Still to come on Jersey Matters, more green space is coming to a city near you. We'll explain next.